The holiday season, typically a time of joy and unity for the British royal family.
The festive season is finally here, and the royal residence in Windsor is getting in the holiday spirit.
Took a surprising and controversial turn this year with the news of Prince Andrew's absence from the royal family's much-anticipated Christmas dinner. As families gathered for a festive meal at Sandringham House, the royal seat, the absence of one key family member, Prince Andrew, dominated public conversation.
The holidays may look a little different this year for the royal family. According to the BBC, citing royal sources, King Charles's younger brother, Prince Andrew, plans to step away from 2 annual Christmas celebrations.
The reasons for this absence are deeply tied to a brewing scandal involving espionage, international politics, and Prince Andrew's alleged connections to a Chinese spy. This year's Christmas gathering was marred by a drama that has escalated beyond the traditional familial concerns of the royals and into the murky waters of national security and foreign influence. Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, has been no stranger to controversy over the years. Among the members of the British royal family, he has stood out for very often, attracting negative attention from both the media and the public. His actions and decisions have frequently raised eyebrows, creating a storm of criticism that continues to follow him. One of the most notorious moments in Prince Andrew's public life came in 2019 when he gave a widely criticized interview to the BBC.
I described it more as almost as a railway station, if you know what I mean, in the sense that there were people coming in and out of that house all the time. What they were doing and why they were there, I had nothing to do with.
The interview was meant to address accusations linking him to Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender and disgraced financier. However, instead of clearing his name, the interview became a public relations disaster. Prince Andrew's tone and evasive answers not only deepened public suspicion, but, for many, his inability to express remorse or take responsibility made the situation worse. The interview quickly became infamous as one of the most embarrassing moments in royal history. It led to widespread outrage and strong calls for the Duke to step away from his official royal duties. However, the Epstein scandal was not the first time Prince Andrew found himself in trouble. Before this, his behavior and relationships had already sparked criticism. During his time as the UK's trade envoy, he developed connections with a range of foreign leaders and business figures, some of whom came from authoritarian regimes. These relationships raised questions about his judgment and whether his diplomatic activities always served Britain's best interests. Critics accused him of prioritizing personal connections over ethical considerations, further denting his reputation. Now, a new scandal has emerged, marking another chapter in the troubled public life of Prince Andrew. Allegations suggest that he may have been indirectly involved in a case of Chinese espionage, linked to his associations with Yang Tengbo, a businessman accused of ties to Chinese intelligence. While Prince Andrew has denied any wrongdoing and claimed he cut ties with Yang as soon as concerns were raised, the mere suggestion of such a connection has further tarnished his already damaged public image. This latest controversy adds to a pattern of behavior that many see as troubling. Over the years, Prince Andrew has been criticized for failing to exercise better judgment in his relationships and activities. Whether it was questionable financial dealings, friendships with controversial figures, or the disastrous BBC interview, each episode has chipped away at his standing, both within the royal family and in the eyes of the public. For the monarchy, Prince Andrew's ongoing controversies have created significant challenges. The royal family relies on its members to maintain a sense of dignity, trust, and public support. Scandals like these not only harm Prince Andrew's reputation, but also risk damaging the monarchy as a whole. Senior members of the family, including King Charles III and Prince William, are reportedly working to distance the institution from the Duke's actions, recognizing the long-term risks of continued association with his controversies.
The last couple of hours that an alleged Chinese spy with links to Prince Andrew has been named after a court order protecting his identity was lifted. The businessman, named as Yang Tengbo.
At the heart of this scandal is Yang Tengbo, also known as Chris Yang, a Chinese businessman who had quietly established himself as an influential figure in the United Kingdom. After arriving in Britain in 2002, Yang founded the Hampton Group International, a consultancy firm aimed at helping British businesses navigate the intricacies of the Chinese market. His position gave him a foothold among the upper echelons of British society, with access to key figures in politics, business, and even the royal family. What seemed at first to be a simple business venture quickly took on a darker hue as UK intelligence agencies began to scrutinize Yang's activities. According to reports, Yang was not just a businessman, but a member of the Chinese Communist Party's United Front Work Department, a group tasked with influencing foreign elites to advance China's geopolitical goals. Yang's rise to prominence in the UK, built on years of cultivating relationships with influential British individuals, masked what intelligence agencies now believe were covert efforts to exert influence on behalf of the Chinese government. In addition to his business dealings, Yang was frequently seen at high-profile charity events, political functions, and other public gatherings where powerful British figures would be in attendance. His relationships with these individuals were, at least on the surface, those of a legitimate businessman. However, behind the scenes, intelligence sources suggest that Yang used these relationships to gather sensitive information, sway political discussions, and perhaps even influence decisions at the highest levels of British society, all for the benefit of Beijing. Yang Tengbo's alleged relationship with Prince Andrew began years ago, with the two reportedly meeting through formal channels related to trade and international investment. It is said that Yang had earned the Duke's trust, which granted him access to key initiatives aimed at fostering closer ties between the UK and China, particularly in areas like investment and trade. One such initiative, a high-profile financial project led by Prince Andrew, allegedly involved Yang in discussions about increasing Chinese investment in the UK. Though Prince Andrew has firmly denied that these discussions ever involved sensitive or classified information, the mere fact that Yang had access to such influential figures has raised eyebrows. Critics argue that Yang may have exploited his relationship with the Duke to further Beijing's interests under the guise of legitimate business activities. While Prince Andrew has maintained that he was unaware of Yang's alleged espionage activities, questions persist about how such a connection was allowed to form in the first place. Yang's presence at royal events and his access to Prince Andrew's inner circle raise serious concerns. Some experts argue that Yang may have been gathering intelligence and subtly steering conversations in directions favorable to Chinese interests, using his proximity to Prince Andrew to strengthen his position as a key player in Britain's international dealings. Whether or not Prince Andrew was complicit in these activities, the association itself has caused significant damage to the royal family's image.
British royal Prince Andrew's latest scandal has once again rocked the monarchy. The Duke now finds himself entangled in allegations involving a suspected Chinese spy.
In response to the allegations surrounding Yang Tengbo, the UK government acted quickly and decisively. Yang has been banned from entering the UK, with the Home Office explaining that the decision was made due to serious concerns about his connections to Chinese intelligence. This action was later upheld by the Special Immigration Appeals Commission, a body responsible for reviewing such cases. Their decision highlighted the significant security risks posed by individuals with ties to foreign governments who attempt to interfere with British institutions. A spokesperson for the Home Office issued a firm statement regarding the matter. They stressed that the UK would not tolerate any kind of foreign interference in its political or diplomatic affairs. We are committed to safeguarding our democracy and national security. Anyone found to be operating on behalf of a foreign government in a covert manner will be subject to the full weight of the law, the spokesperson said. This strong language reflects the government's serious approach to dealing with potential threats to the nation's security and democratic processes. While the UK government's actions demonstrate its determination to combat espionage, they also raise important questions about how Yang Tengbo was able to develop relationships with influential figures like Prince Andrew in the first place. How could someone suspected of having ties to Chinese intelligence get so close to key members of British society? This issue has sparked widespread concern and led to demands for changes in how such situations are handled in the future. Critics have pointed out that the scandal exposes weaknesses in the UK's vetting processes. It suggests that more needs to be done to thoroughly examine the backgrounds of individuals who seek access to prominent public figures or institutions. Some argue that this case should serve as a wake-up call, pushing the government to introduce stricter safeguards to prevent similar breaches of security. Additionally, the incident has drawn attention to the evolving nature of modern espionage. Unlike traditional spying methods, which often involve direct infiltration, today's foreign agents frequently operate by building personal connections with influential people. This more subtle approach makes it harder to detect potential threats, underscoring the need for constant vigilance and updated security protocols. The UK government's swift response to the allegations against Yang Tengbo sends a clear message that foreign interference will not be tolerated. The ban on Yang's entry and the reaffirmation of this decision by the Special Immigration Appeals Commission reflect the seriousness of the threat. At the same time, the scandal has sparked broader discussions about the need for stronger protections to ensure that individuals with potential ties to foreign intelligence are identified and kept at a distance from key figures in British public life. Moving forward, it is clear that the UK must not only address this particular case, but also take steps to reinforce its defenses against similar threats in the future.
Now, even though the Duke of York insists that he severed all ties with Yang as soon as security concerns were raised, his history of associations with questionable individuals continues to haunt him and tarnish the monarchy's reputation.
As the scandal involving Yang Tengbo continues to grow, Prince Andrew has tried to distance himself from the allegations. In a carefully written statement, he admitted that he had met Yang Tengbo through official channels and had participated in discussions about potential Chinese investments. However, he strongly denied any knowledge of Yang's alleged links to Chinese intelligence. The Duke of York also claimed that he cut ties with Yang as soon as he became aware of concerns about the businessman's background. Prince Andrew's response has been an attempt to clarify his role and to reassure the public that his interactions with Yang were innocent and professional. He has emphasized that he was unaware of any inappropriate connections Yang might have had and acted responsibly once doubts were raised. Despite these denials, however, public opinion remains largely negative. Many people see this scandal as yet another instance of Prince Andrew displaying poor judgment in choosing who to associate with. Even if his dealings with Yang were above board, the fact that he became involved with someone later linked to espionage reflects poorly on him. For the public, it adds to a pattern of behavior that has already damaged his reputation. The perception of impropriety, whether or not it is justified, has deepened the distrust many feel toward Prince Andrew. Inside the royal family, the fallout from this scandal has been just as serious. Reports suggest that senior members of the family are not convinced by Prince Andrew's defense. King Charles III and Prince William are said to be leading efforts to further distance the monarchy from Andrew's controversies. They are reportedly worried that his involvement in yet another scandal could harm the royal family's efforts to modernize and remain relevant in the eyes of the public. Both King Charles and Prince William understand the importance of maintaining the monarchy's image in the 21st century. With public support for the royal family not as strong as it once was, they appear to believe that any association with Prince Andrew's controversies risks overshadowing their broader goals. This includes strengthening the monarchy's reputation, promoting charitable work, and adapting to the changing expectations of the public. Prince Andrew's attempts to address the allegations have done little to win back public trust. While he has tried to explain his past interactions with Yang Tengbo and distance himself from the controversy, these efforts have been overshadowed by the broader perception of his poor decision-making. Inside the royal family, there is growing determination to minimize his role in public life, with senior figures pushing to ensure that his actions do not affect the institution's long-term future. Whether or not Prince Andrew can recover from this scandal, it is clear that his position within both the monarchy and the public sphere is more uncertain than ever.
Prince Andrew has said that he ceased all contact with this alleged Chinese spy whenever the issues were raised to him. But we've been here before, haven't we, with allegations surrounding his alleged impropriety, shall we say. Yeah.
This year, Prince Andrew's absence from the royal family's annual Christmas dinner was conspicuous. Traditionally, these gatherings are seen as a symbol of royal unity and public display of family solidarity. However, with the ongoing scandal and the public outcry surrounding his connection to Yang Tengbo, the absence of Prince Andrew from the royal table was a calculated move designed to avoid further backlash. Sources close to the royal family suggest that the decision to exclude Prince Andrew was not made lightly, but was a deliberate attempt to shield the monarchy from additional scrutiny during an already turbulent time. King Charles and Prince William are believed to have played pivotal roles in the decision, signaling to the public that the royal family was committed to accountability and transparency. For many, Prince Andrew's empty seat at the table was a stark reminder of the controversy that has surrounded him for years. The absence symbolizes a shift within the royal family, one that seeks to prioritize accountability and modernity over tradition and familial ties. This year's Christmas dinner, traditionally a time for celebrating the royal family's unity, became instead a somber reflection of the challenges the monarchy faces as it navigates public scrutiny and modern expectations. As the scandal involving Yang Tengbo continues to unfold, the Chinese government has strongly denied all allegations against him. Officials from China's foreign ministry have labeled the claims as baseless and accused Western nations, particularly the United Kingdom, of using this incident to spread anti-China rhetoric. Beijing has described these accusations as part of a larger pattern of hostility, often blaming geopolitical rivalries for what it perceives as unfair targeting. This kind of response is typical of China's approach to similar allegations in the past, where it frequently frames such claims as politically motivated rather than grounded in fact. The denial comes as no surprise, especially given the current state of relations between the UK and China. In recent years, the relationship between the two countries has become increasingly tense. Several key issues have contributed to this strained dynamic, including concerns over cybersecurity, criticisms of China's human rights record, and broader geopolitical competition. These disagreements have made it difficult for the two nations to maintain a cooperative and constructive relationship. The Yang Tengbo scandal has now added another layer of complexity, acting as a fresh source of conflict in an already fragile partnership. For China, these allegations go beyond the individual case of Yang Tengbo. Chinese officials view them as part of a wider effort by Western countries to undermine China's growing influence on the world stage. Beijing often accuses nations like the UK of harboring a Cold War mentality and using incidents like this to justify actions that aim to limit China's power and reach. This perspective is central to how China defends itself against accusations of espionage, framing them as part of a broader geopolitical struggle rather than isolated security concerns. However, for the UK, the scandal raises serious questions about national security. Allegations of espionage, especially when linked to influential individuals or organizations, are not taken lightly. The British government is likely to treat this case as a significant issue, particularly given its existing concerns about China's activities in areas like technology, telecommunications, and surveillance. However, responding to these concerns while maintaining diplomatic ties with a major global power like China presents a difficult challenge. The Yang Tengbo scandal highlights the growing mistrust between the UK and China, which extends far beyond this single incident. Allegations of espionage have a way of deepening divisions between nations, eroding trust, and complicating diplomatic relations. This mistrust makes it harder for the two countries to collaborate on important global issues such as climate change, international trade, and technological innovation. In the larger context, this situation reflects the challenges of managing international relations in a world where geopolitical rivalries are becoming increasingly pronounced. The Yang Tengbo affair is not just about espionage. It is a symbol of the broader tensions that define the UK-China relationship today. For the UK, it underscores the importance of remaining vigilant against potential threats to national security. For China, it represents another example of what it sees as Western countries trying to hinder its rise as a global power. However, this incident goes beyond individual claims and shines a spotlight on the deeper challenges in UK-China relations. With tensions already high due to cybersecurity issues, human rights concerns, and geopolitical rivalries, the Yang Tengbo scandal adds more strain to an already delicate situation. How both countries navigate this controversy will likely shape their diplomatic relationship for years to come. As global politics grow more complex, countries like the United Kingdom must remain vigilant against covert efforts by foreign actors to influence domestic affairs or manipulate decision-makers. The Yang Tengbo case highlights how modern espionage often relies on subtle tactics, such as building relationships with influential individuals rather than traditional spying methods. In Prince Andrew's case, These connections have raised concerns not just about him, but about the broader vulnerabilities of institutions like the monarchy. When royals are linked to questionable figures, it creates risks that could be exploited by foreign entities. This situation underscores the importance of vigilance, even in areas like royal engagements and social connections, where national security risks may seem unlikely. For the monarchy, it also raises questions about its ability to stay relevant in a rapidly changing world. While rooted in tradition, today's society demands openness and accountability. Scandals like those involving Prince Andrew strain public trust and make it harder for the monarchy to balance its historic role with modern expectations. The Yang Tengbo episode highlights broader challenges, including the monarchy's struggle to adapt to a world shaped by transparency and complex security threats. Whether it can maintain its relevance while addressing these pressures is a question the royal family and the public must grapple with moving forward. Prince Andrew's reputation has been deeply damaged by a series of scandals that have made headlines over the years. These controversies have left his name in disrepute, and now, with a fresh wave of criticism directed at him, it seems nearly impossible for him to repair the damage. His standing within the royal family has diminished significantly, and questions about his future as a public figure are growing louder with each passing day. Public opinion of Prince Andrew has turned sharply negative. Once regarded as an important member of the royal family, he is now widely seen as a liability. Many believe that his continued association with the monarchy harms the institution's image. This sentiment has fueled growing calls for him to step back entirely and relinquish his royal titles, such as Duke of York. Some argue that taking this step would allow the royal family to distance itself from the negative attention his actions have brought upon them. However, it is uncertain whether Prince Andrew will voluntarily give up his titles or take any other meaningful steps to retreat from public life. While such decisions are likely being debated behind closed palace doors, one fact remains clear. The damage to his personal reputation, and by extension, to the monarchy as a whole, is significant. Scandals like his tend to linger in the public's memory, casting a long shadow over those involved for years to come. The repercussions of this situation could extend far beyond Prince Andrew himself. His controversies have sparked broader debates about the role of the monarchy in modern society. At this point, it is difficult to predict exactly how this situation will unfold. What is certain, however, is that Prince Andrew's once respected public image has been irreversibly damaged. His future in public life seems highly uncertain, and the fallout from his actions will likely continue to impact not only him, but also the royal family for many years to come. Whether the monarchy can fully recover from this scandal and restore its standing with the public remains to be seen. The scandal involving Yang Tengbo and Prince Andrew continues to unfold, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. How did Yang manage to gain such close access to influential figures in the UK? What steps will be taken to prevent such incidents from occurring in the future? And what does this mean for Prince Andrew's role within the royal family? While many questions remain unanswered, one thing is certain: the impact of this scandal will reverberate for years. For Prince Andrew, the damage may be irreparable. For the UK, this case serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities posed by foreign influence and espionage. And for the British monarchy, this incident is yet another challenge in an era of heightened scrutiny, one that may change the royal family's future in ways no one can predict. The empty chair at the Christmas table speaks volumes about the road ahead for the monarchy, as it grapples with the weight of accountability in the modern age.